Hey there everybody, Scudder here today and hope you guys are doing great. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about survival and I'm going to try to do a few more videos on this subject. I am up here at Glacier National Park today and I'm going to take a hike up the mountain to Avalanche Lake, and part of what I wanted to talk about was that if times get really bad and we find ourselves in a SHTF scenario, it could mean that you yourself or you and your family may have to leave the area where you live, and you may have to seek shelter out in the wilderness. And surviving in the wilderness takes a great deal of skill, and it's not a very easy environment to survive in. And so I think that it's important for all of us to learn more skills about living in the wilderness if we had to survive. And there's a lot of things that you don't think about when you're in that scenario. Now I'm going to take a hike up. It's about 2 miles, and I'm going to film some footage as I'm taking the hike, and I'm not sure if I'm going to even be able to do well because, let's face it, I'm out of shape, and hiking 2 miles there and back through the wilderness is not going to be easy for me. But I did bring some things as preparedness, and this is something that you guys need to think about if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're out in the wilderness, or even if you're just going hiking in wildlife prone areas. Now, one thing I brought was a whistle, and that is for my protection if I run into any kind of wildlife or anything that could present a danger. It's also for my safety in case I get lost or something like that. Now, another thing that I brought with me, and this is important if you're in areas where there are bears or mountain lions or things like that, and that is bear spray. In this part of the country, as well as other parts of the country, really smart idea to have this. Hopefully you will never need to use it, but what it is, it's basically kind of like a mace for bears, and I'm sure you can use it on mountain lions and things like that. And it's a deterrent. You can spray the animals with it and hopefully get away. So that's something that you want to think about if you're going to be in a hiking or survival type situation, because you never know when you may need it to thwart an animal off if it comes across your path. So you might want to pick you up a can of that and just keep it in your stocks and supplies. Another thing I got, and this is for hiking as well, this is called a bear bell, and when you're hiking you can wear that, and the noise will scare the animals away, or at least alert them that you are in the area, so you don't unsuspectingly walk up on a mountain lion or a bear or something like that. The noise will alert them that you're coming. So that's just a couple of things. Now, I've got water in my backpack, I've got some food supply, I've got a jacket, a cap, a knife, flashlight, things like that, things that I might need in a situation if I got lost or if I got into, if I got hurt or something like that. Another thing you might want to remember, if you are in the wilderness, chances are your cell phone may not work. So you may not have service. A lot of people rely on their cell phones these days, and you guys may not have service. Up here where I'm at, I have no service with my cell phone. So that's another thing that you guys may want to think about. So those are just some tips for survival, just for the novice. And I'm still a novice because I'm still learning all of these things, but I wanted to share this information with you. So let's go ahead. We'll start taking a walk. I'm going to go through the Trail of Cedars hike first, and then on up to Avalanche Lake. So I'll take some footage. Hope you guys enjoy, and we'll talk to you just in a bit. This is the Trail of Cedars, and as you guys will see as I go through here, there are all kinds of wonderful cedar trees, and there's some hemp trees and things like that. So just enjoy the view. And this is one of the things you'll see when you're out hiking. Little critters all over the place. I'm gonna see if I can get close to one of these guys. You gonna let me get close? Smile for the camera. I actually saw this tree yesterday, and I thought it was cool. You can see. So you can see how tall these trees are here. I just thought this was really cool. And another thing, if you guys want to see, and look how many roots and stuff, how it branches out. That's pretty awesome. Another thing I thought I'd show you guys is this downed tree. This is a downed tree, and it goes all the way down there. So these are some big mama jama trees, that's for sure. If you are forced to be out in the wilderness and you've got to survive, one of the things you want to look for is sources of water. Some sources of water are safe to drink and some are not safe to drink. One of the things you may want to keep in your kit, your backpack or what have you, is just a small bottle of regular non-scented bleach, because a few drops put into bleach water will help sterilize it enough for drinking. You can, if you have the ability to make fire, you also can boil the water to drink it. So that's something that you guys might want to think about if you find yourself in a situation like this. One thing I would caution you about, it's great to have a source of water. You need that to survive. But also remember that in areas like this, you're also going to be dealing with wildlife because they're going to come down to drink. So you just need to be careful and know your surroundings and know what's around you. You guys can see the water coming out of the, this is just a little bitty drain coming out of the ground there. But that could be a source of drinking water if you absolutely needed it. Now I'm supposed to go up here and show you guys what they call Avalanche Gorge. And you guys will probably see this in another video of mine, but I just thought it was so pretty, it bears repeating again. So this is Avalanche Gorge, and this is water that comes down off the mountain from the glaciers that are up there. Very, very pretty. And actually, I wish you guys could be here to see it because it's much prettier in person. But look at the rock formation. That's pretty awesome. I'd hate to have to climb up those. Okay, so as you guys can see now, I'm off of the paved path now, and I am on the just basically natural terrain here, and it goes all the way up, and this is a very, very steep, very rocky, can be treacherous climb. So you guys can see, if you have to survive out here in the wilderness, these are conditions that you're going to have to deal with. So you're going to have to be prepared. And I can tell you now, I just climbed up a steep hill and I had to stop and rest because I was out of breath. So once you get in the wilderness, you've got to have some skills, and you've got to be physically able to manage this kind of terrain. Something else I want you guys to notice, you'll notice all out in here, you're going to see a lot of downed timber. A lot of that, this is not logging up here, a lot of that is just natural falling because of the winds. When you're up, especially up in the higher elevations, then you get a lot of wind and very strong winds up here. So a lot of this that you see is where the wind has blown down all these trees. I'm gonna walk a little bit. I mean, it's just everywhere. So something you need to be cautious about, because you will have to deal with very strong winds if you go up very high in the wilderness. And I stopped here just for a second, not for anything spectacularly important, but just because it's an awesome view. And as you can see, yes, this is at the end of May, and yes, there is still snow up here in the mountains, and that's something that you guys may encounter. Okay, I'm about halfway, and as you guys can see, I'm already sweating like crazy, and I'm pooped, and I've still got a long way to go. All them hills like that. But let this serve as a, just as a tip and a good reminder to you that it might be wise to start getting in shape, because if you have to navigate this kind of territory, I could tell you, for a fat boy like me, this is not a very easy thing for me to do. And as you saw in my video yesterday, if you guys can see, then, oops, I lost it. When you're out here in the wilderness, you're going to see wildlife. Okay, one thing you might want to think about too, you'll see these big, huge rocks like this. Excuse me for breathing hard, and I'm out of breath. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff like this in the wilderness, and in a worst case, have to scenario, if it started snowing or raining or anything like that, you guys could seek shelter next to one of these rocks, and if you already see how this tree, this branch has already fallen, you could layer you some branches and then put some with foliage on it if there's any available, and you can use that as a temporary shelter. There's another wonderful view for you guys to enjoy. And oh yeah, for the record, oh yeah, that's snow. Lots of it still up here. But on the upside, I'm almost done with the hike, and on the way back down, most of it's all downhill. Okay, you guys can see, as I said, a lot of it on the way back is downhill, which for the most part, body-wise, makes traveling easier. Is my bear bell, can y'all hear that? Let me hold it so it doesn't clink, clink, clink. So, it is downhill, but just to like going uphill, when going downhill, you need to be careful watch where you're stepping and watch your footing, especially on, you know, you got loose rocks all over the place, and you could fall. And I'm sure hoping that I don't fall. But that's something that, you know, you guys want to consider when you're out here. Also, too, I'll show you real quick. You need to consider footwear. I've got just a pair of basically construction boot shoes on, and this is better than just plain old cheap tennis shoes. But you're going to have to be out in this kind of situation. You want to try to invest in a good pair of comfortable, sturdy, strong hiking boots, or shoes at least. So it's another thing for you guys to think about. Okay, everybody, so I finally made it back down to the bottom of the mountain, and for point of reference for you guys, I must turn the camera around, and I went about a little ways, a little more than a half to 3/4 of the way up there, if you guys can see. And I gotta tell you one thing for sure, that just about kicked my butt. That lets me know how bad out of shape I am. But I wanted to make this video for you guys so that you could see that if you found yourself in a situation to where you were in a survival scenario, and where you had to get out of the city or wherever you are, and you had to head to the wilderness for your protection and for your safety, that it's not as easy as it looks. And that was just 4 miles of hiking. So think if you had to go 20 miles, 30 miles, 50 miles, it gives you something really to think about for your future. It can be done, but you need to be in shape to do it. You need to have the tools to do it, and you also need to have the skills and preparation in hand before you try to do something like that. And my advice to you would be not to wait until the day you have to run. My advice would be now, start studying, start learning, start gathering the tools that you need, and go out and do some practice hiking so that you can be familiar with these kinds of terrain, so you'll know what you have to deal with. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm going to go home and put my feet up and I think take a nap, because I am plumb wore out. You guys take care. God bless. Bye-bye for now.